Hi, this is Mitch Mitchell. You know the rest of it, so I don't even need to bring it up. Anyway, I've been away for about a week, and I actually did a video last Saturday, and it was kind of upbeat, talking about money. But truth of the matter is that last Saturday, I was not in a good mood. That was pretty much one of the few instances that I was out of bed last Saturday. I was in bed pretty much for most of the day, except for maybe an hour and a half, basically to come eat. I did take a trip to try to buy something that they ended up not having at one store, and I came right back. That was the only time I left the hotel room because, as you can tell, I'm still in a hotel room. It's not red back here like at my room at home. And I was just in a funk. I was in a funk, and I knew it was coming pretty much during the week. And I had just gotten down here, but I just knew it was coming. And it's a good thing that actually last Friday night, when I went to the casino, that I ended up being a winner, because if I hadn't been a winner, it might have been a worse bit of funk than it turned out to be. And one of those kind of things that happens, at least with me, is that when I get into a funk, I have to basically like turn everything off, and I have to try to figure out what it is, what really got me there. And so I was basically off of social media for the entire week. I just decided I'm not going to get on it until I'm mentally ready again. I really have to figure this whole thing out. And what it basically comes down to is really two things. One, I almost hate to bring this up because you hate to talk about things that are ongoing, especially when you're an independent consultant. But suffice it to say that there were a couple of things happening at work where I'm working that I didn't like. And it's not that it was anything that was personally really directed at me, but it was. It wasn't meant for me specifically, but it's something that happened. And that started to really get me irritated. And it got me irritated because it's the kind of thing that's been happening for over a year. And it doesn't only happen to me, it happens to some other people. But I can't control other people. It happens to me. And usually I can just let things go and let things go and let things go. I stay positive as much as I can. I've mentioned in other videos how I watch a lot of, fun things during the day to try to keep me in a good mood. But I just wasn't in the mood for it. I just wasn't in the mood for it. Maybe it was because I'd had a great holiday weekend, with my wife the previous week, and I just gotten down there, and it was kind of, I don't know. I was in one of those moods where part of me just still wanted to be home, so I didn't take it well. And it led into the weekend funk on top of some other things. There's things that I really try to keep myself out of, but it's hard to. You're kind of human. And there's a lot of this political stuff that's going on back and forth, and I just can't stand it. I obviously have my opinion on one side, and you always have to battle the other side. And really, I'm sitting here looking at this thing with President Obama. Let's just start with that, where you have these people saying these mean, nasty things, and you have people thinking he's the worst president in history. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm sorry, are you people not noticing that he hasn't been able to get almost anything passed after the health care bill? Nothing. I mean, when you have another side that is almost like you never have a dissenter, how do you blame everything on him for not being able to get things passed? And everything he does gets lambasted, and it's just ugly, ugly, ugly. And yes, there are supporters on the other side, but then sometimes they go a little bit far, and then you're saying, well, come on, people. And it's just a depressing thing. And then you have this thing going on in the Ukraine and Russia, which you would think I wouldn't care anything about, and I kind of don't, except for the fact that it's going to end up war, and that could get us there. And then you got the thing in Iraq, and it's just another thing that's there. And Israel and Palestine and Syria, just name all that, and you have all that stuff. And then in the middle of all that, you have a couple of people who, even if they don't say something or they do, you kind of feel like you've got no support whatsoever. that no one appreciates anything you've ever done or that you've been doing for them without pay. I'm sorry, did I say that? But you get into this mode where you just feel like, you know what? It's really me against the world. There is nobody else. And at that moment, you just want to kind of pull back in and think about things and figure it all out. And this is what I was working on. And it took a few really odd things that happened. One thing that happened is the work thing occurred one more time. And this time I decided it was time to call this particular person on it. And I didn't hold back. Well, I didn't hold back with my words. When I get really angry, I don't yell at people or anything like that. But I definitely had a speech in my mind, and I gave my speech. And then I told this person about, my own thing that I've been going through or whatever. And that kind of shocked this person. And for the rest of the week, the person was nice, overly nice. And that was a welcome change from almost a year's worth. And that was one thing. And the second thing was I actually went back and watched some of my own videos. Now, that may sound odd, but you know what? Every once in a while, every time I make a video, I actually go back and watch it because I want to see if I sound really, really stupid. I've actually deleted a couple of videos over the years, but not all that many. I just want to see how it came across and if I really said what I meant to say. I really should have deleted that Martin Luther King Jr. video with the Civil Rights Museum, but I didn't. And that shows you, it has to be pretty bad for me to decide to delete a video. And no, I'm not going to link it here so you can go back. If you want to go look at it, you can. Not one of my better moves because I kept getting the guy's name wrong. Anyway, so I was listening to my own videos, the ones on motivation and inspiration. And there were those messages that I actually said in my own video that got me thinking about stuff. And it got me back to that point where it says, people will put you down for stuff that they've never done. People will look at my business and say, well, you don't really have a business. I mean, yeah, you basically go for yourself, but you don't really have a true business. You don't sell anything. You don't have employees. And these are people who are working for the man. They've got their whatever, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or whatever. And they get their 2 to 4 weeks of vacation and they have, Saturday and Sunday. Why am I listening to those people talking about my business? I've been out here 13 years on my own. And I keep trying to be better and do better. And I'm listening to those people. And I've been trying to edit my book for a long time, my second book. And it's taking longer than I had expected because I'm basically rewriting certain content that I didn't think I was going to do. And I've had some people talk about that. But geez, maybe you really don't want to do it. And I'm thinking, well, for the most part, these people have never written one book, let alone blog or anything else. And they want to tell me about me. So I had to get to that. And, you asked the question, who are you doing this for? And truthfully, I'm doing it for me and my wife, but mainly for me. I work on my own for me. Yes, I'd love to have more of my friends kind of be supportive, whatever. And I'm not going to say that they're putting me down. I'm going to say they're not necessarily supportive. But then again, are they supposed to be? I found this interesting that during the week, one of the videos I watched was by this guy named Lamar Wilson. And Lamar was talking about how he had left Chicago to move to LA because he thought there were going to be all these opportunities and he was going to work with all these people. And he's found out that it just didn't work that way. And in his own words, he said when people in their own way found out that he wasn't, didn't have enough to offer them, then they kind of just pulled away and left him on his own. And this is a guy with thousands of subscribers and people who watch him. And, he was very popular. He is very popular, but he was struggling to live in a very expensive city like Los Angeles. And so he had to basically scramble and start finding work. And now he's doing okay, but he could be doing better. He lived off some of the YouTube money, and then that started to dwindle. Who knows why that happens. But, there it is. And it does say, you know what? It's up to you to do your own thing, but you have to have your own confidence. You have to be ready to scramble. And, I started thinking about that. Yeah, I've got a nice consulting gig going on right now. I'm making pretty good money. I've made bigger money, but I'm making pretty good money. And I have plans for what to do after it's done, or at least what to try. But like I said, I've been a survivor. I've had times where I've made really, really big money, and I've had times where I've made just enough money to pay my bills, along with my wife. So, I'm a survivor. And that really is the thing. I tie this in with the money thing with last week's video where I said, having more money just frees your mind up and gives you more opportunities to do more things. Well, working for yourself basically means you're almost always working. People think, well, I go to lunch all the time. Well, yeah, but I go to lunch, I come back, and I work. I sometimes work 2:33 in the morning, where this guy Eric Thomas is just getting up at 3. I'm still up. Eric, I'm still up. So what is the point of this video? The point of this video is to say, one, we all get down sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that, but we have to work our way through it. Two, you need to worry about yourself. You can work with people who have some kind of background in it, but if there's none of those people, if you don't know those people, then it's all on you. But you need to believe in yourself. And sometimes you're going to waver. No one walks into business on their own and is an immediate success and then stays there. There's a lot of people who have a shot and then blow it. There was this young lady from the Netherlands, I think it was, who had, all of a sudden she was discovered and she got this big contract from L'Oreal. And then within a week, people turned on her because someone found a picture of her over an ibex. That's an animal, by the way, of some kind. It was dead, and she had a rifle, and she was saying something about, we're going to kill Americans. Come on, people. We all knew she didn't mean she was going to kill Americans. She's 17 years old. But the world turned against her. Now, did she learn a lesson? I don't know. But it just shows you that in the long run, you're responsible for yourself. And number 3, you can get out of any funk that you're in. You can get out of any problems that you're in. One thing I always like to say is that tomorrow is another day to start again. That's what I have to say. That's what I'm going to title this. Tomorrow is another day to start again. I think that works. Mitch Mitchell, leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let's do this together. See, I'm willing to give you some support if no one else does. Y'all take care. Have a great day.